The griffin, griffin or griffin, ancient Greek, gamma reuxilonsai grips, classical Latin, grips or grippus 1, Latin, medieval Latin 2, griffes, griffo etsi, old French griffin, is a legendary creature with the body, tail, and back legs of a lion, the head and wings of an eagle, and sometimes an eagle's talons as its front feet. Because the lion was traditionally considered the king of the beasts and the eagle the king of the birds by the Middle Ages, the griffin was thought to be an especially powerful and majestic creature. Since classical antiquity, griffins were known for guarding treasures and priceless possessions. In Greek and Roman texts, griffins and arimaspians were associated with gold deposits of Central Asia. Indeed, as Pliny the Elder wrote, griffins were said to lay eggs in burrows on the ground, and these nests contained gold nuggets. In medieval heraldry, the griffin became a Christian symbol of divine power and a guardian of the divine, but the derivation of this word remains uncertain. It could be related to the Greek word gamma, rho upsilon pi omicron sigma grippos, meaning curved or hooked. It could also have been an Anatolian loan word derived from a Semitic language. Compare the Hebrew word for cherub, cherub. Most statuary representations of griffins depict them with bird-like forelegs and talons, although in some older illustrations griffins have a lion's forelegs. See below. They generally have a lion's hindquarters. Its eagle's head is conventionally given prominent ears. These are sometimes described as the lion's ears, but are often elongated more like a horse's, and are sometimes feathered. Infrequently, a griffin is portrayed without wings, or a wingless eagle-headed lion is identified as a griffin. In 15th century and later heraldry, such a beast may be called an alk, a kithung, or a male griffin. The epinacus or epimaku is another heraldic variety of griffin, with the body and forelegs of a lion, the head, neck and wings of an eagle, and a camel's short tail. It is sometimes wingless. Representations of griffin-like hybrids with 4 legs and a beaked head appeared in ancient Egyptian art dating back to before 3000 BC9 in Egypt. A griffin-like animal can be seen in a cosmetic palette from Hierakonpolis known as the two-dog palette 1011, which is dated to c. 3300 to 3100 BC. In Iranian mythology, the griffin is called sherdal, which means lion-eagle. The sherdal has appeared in ancient art of Iran since the late 2nd millennium BC. 13 sherdals appeared on cylinder seals from Susa as early as 3000 BC. 14 sherdals also are common motifs in the art of Uristan, the north and northwest region of Iran in the Iron Age, and Achaemenian art. Griffin-type creatures combining raptor heads and mammalian bodies were depicted in the Levant, Syria, and Anatolia in the Middle Bronze Age 1617, dated at about 1950 to 1550 BC. 18 early depictions of griffin types in Minoan art, found in the 15th century BC frescoes in the throne room of the Bronze Age Palace of Cnossums, as restored by Sir Arthur Evans. Bird-mammal composites were a decorative theme in archaic and classical Greek art, but became quite popular in the 6th and 5th centuries BC, when the Greeks first began to record accounts of the grips creature from travelers to Asia, such as Aristaeus of Proconnesus. In Central Asia, the griffin image was included in Scythian animal-style artifacts of the 6th–48th centuries BC, but no writings explain their meaning. Griffin images appeared in art of the Achaemenian Persian Empire. Russian jewelry historian Elena Nova maintained that the Achaemenids considered the griffin a protector from evil witchcraft and secret slander. 19, but no writings exist from Achaemenid Persia to support her claim. R. L. Fox 1973 remarks that a lion griffin attacks a stag in a pebble mosaic at Pelia from the 4th century BC. 2021, perhaps serving as an emblem of the kingdom of Macedon or a personal emblem of Antipater, one of Alexander's successors. The Pisa griffin is a large bronze sculpture that has been in Pisa in Italy since the Middle Ages, though it is of Islamic origin. It is the largest bronze medieval Islamic sculpture known at over 3 feet tall, 42.5 inches or 1.08 meters, and was probably created in the 11th century in Al-Andalus, Islamic Spain 2223. From about 1100 it was placed on a column on the roof of Pisa Cathedral until replaced by a replica in 1832. The original is now in the Museo dell'Opera del Duomo Cathedral Museum, Pisa. Several ancient mythological creatures are similar to the griffin. These include the Lamassu, an Assyrian protective deity often depicted with a bull or lion's body, eagle's wings and human's head. Sumerian and Akkadian mythology feature the demon Anzu, half man and half bird, associated with the chief sky god Enlil. This was a divine storm bird linked with the southern wind and the thunder clouds. Jewish mythology speaks of the Ziz, which resembles Anzu, as well as the ancient Greek phoenix. The Bible mentions the Ziz in Psalms 50:11. This is also similar to a cherub. The cherub or sphinx was very popular in Phoenician iconography. In ancient Crete, griffins became very popular and were portrayed in various media. A similar creature is the Minoan genius. In the Hindu religion, Garuda is a large bird-like creature which serves as a Mount Vayana of the Lord Vishnu. It is also the name for the constellation Aquila. In medieval legend, griffins not only mated for life, but if either partner died, then the other would continue the rest of its life alone, never to search for a new mate. Citation needed. The griffin was thus made an emblem of the church's opposition to remarriage. Dubious discuss being a union of an aerial bird and a terrestrial beast. It was seen in Christendom to be a symbol of Jesus, who was both human and divine. As such, it can be found sculpted on some churches. According to Stephen Fry's New Dictionary of Heraldry, a griffin's claw was believed to have medicinal properties, and one of its feathers could restore sight to the blind. 3 goblets fashioned from griffin claws, antelope horns, and griffin eggs. Ostrich eggs were highly prized in medieval European courts. When Genoa emerged as a major seafaring power in the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, griffins commenced to be depicted as part of the Republic's coat of arms, rearing at the sides of the shield bearing the cross of St. George. By the 12th century, the appearance of the griffin was substantially fixed. All its bodily members are like a lion's, but its wings and mask are like an eagle's. 25. It is not yet clear if its forelimbs are those of an eagle or of a lion. Although the description implies the latter, the accompanying illustration is ambiguous. It was left to the heralds to clarify that a hippogriff is a legendary creature, supposedly the offspring of a griffin and a mare. In heraldry, the griffin's amalgamation of lion and eagle gains in courage and boldness, and it is always drawn to powerful, fierce monsters. It is used to denote strength and military courage and leadership. Griffins are portrayed with the rear body of a lion, an eagle's head with erect ears, a feathered breast, and the forelegs of an eagle including claws. These features indicate a combination of intelligence and strength. Griffins may be shown in a variety of poses, but in British heraldry are never shown with their wings closed. Heraldic griffins use the same attitude terminology as the lion, with the exception that where a lion would be described as rampant, a griffin is instead described as segrient. In British heraldry, a male griffin is shown without wings, its body covered in tufts of formidable spikes with a short tusk emerging from the forehead. As for a unicorn, 28, this distinction is not found outside of British heraldry. Even within it, male griffins are much rarer than winged ones, which are not given a specific name. It is possible that the male griffin originated as a derivation of the heraldic panther. The sea griffin, also termed the griffin marine, is a heraldic variant of the griffin, possessing the head and legs of the more common variant, and the hindquarters of a fish or a mermaid. Sea griffins are present on the arms of a number of German noble families, including the Mestisch family of Silesia and the barony of Puttkamer. The apincus is another heraldic variant, which is depicted with all 4 legs being those of a lion. Occasionally, its tail may be that of a camel or its wings may be absent. The apincus is rarely used in heraldry, but appears in the arms of the worshipful company of barbers. The apincus is another heraldic variant, which is depicted with all four legs being those of a lion. Occasionally, its tail may be that of a camel or its wings may be absent. The apincus is rarely used in heraldry, but appears in the arms of the worshipful company of barbers. In architectural decoration, the griffin is usually represented as a four-footed beast with wings and the head of an eagle with horns, or with the head and beak of an eagle. The statues that mark the entrance to the City of London are sometimes mistaken for griffins, but are in fact Tudor dragons, the supporters of the city's arms. They are most easily distinguished from griffins by their membranous, rather than feathered wings. Pomponius Mela in Europe. Constantly falling snow makes those places contiguous with the Griffin mountains so impassable that in addition, they prevent those who deliberately travel here from seeing anything. After that comes a region of very rich soil but quite uninhabitable because griffins, a savage and tenacious breed of wild beasts, love minus to an amazing degree minus the gold that is mined from deep within the earth there, and because they guard it with an amazing hostility to those who set foot there. Roma, 1998. Isidore of Seville minus the griffes are so called, because they are winged quadrupeds. This kind of wild beast is found in the Hyperborean mountains. In every part of their body they are lions, and in wings and heads are like eagles, and they are fierce enemies of horses. Moreover, they tear men to pieces. Brehout, 1912. The griffin is the symbol of the Philadelphia Museum of Art. Bronze castings of them perch on each corner of the museum's roof, protecting its collection. Similarly, prior to the mid-1990s, a griffin formed part of the logo of Midland Bank, now HSBC. Some large species of Old World vultures are called griffines, including the griffon vulture Gyps fulvus. The scientific name for the Andean condor is Vultur griffus, Latin for griffin vulture. The Catholic Douay-Rheims version of the Bible uses griffin for a creature referred to as vulture or ossifrage. In other English translations, Leviticus 11:13. Adrian Mayer, a classical folklorist and historian of science, has speculated that the way the Greeks imagined griffins from the 7th century BC onwards may have been influenced in part by the fossilized remains of beaked dinosaurs such as Protoceratops observed on the way to gold deposits by nomadic prospectors of ancient Scythia, Central Asia. This speculation is based on Greek and Latin literary sources and related artworks in a specific time frame, beginning with the first written descriptions of griffins as real animals of Asia in a lost work by Aristeas, a Greek who traveled to the Altai region between Mongolia and NW China in the 7th century BC, referenced by Aeschylus and Herodotus c. 450 BC and ending with the lion 3 RD century. The last ancient author to report any new details about the griffin. Mayer argues that Protoceratops fossils seen by ancient observers may have been interpreted as evidence of a half-bird, half-mammal creature. 49. She argues that over-repeated retelling and drawing or recopying its bony neck frill, which is rather fragile and may have been frequently broken or entirely weathered away, may become large mammal-type external ears, and its beak may be treated as evidence of a part bird nature and lead to bird-type wings being added. Paleontologist Mark P. Whitten has contested this hypothesis, arguing that it ignores the existence of depictions of griffins throughout the Near East dating to long before the time when Mayer posits the Greeks became aware of Protoceratops fossils in Scythia. Whitten further argues that the anatomies of griffins in Greek art are clearly based on those of living creatures, especially lions and eagles, and that there are no features of griffins in Greek art that can only be explained by the hypothesis that the griffins were based on fossils. He notes that Greek accounts of griffins describe them as living creatures, not ancient skeletons, and that some of the details of these accounts suggest griffins are purely imaginary, not inspired by fossils. Royal Air Force Police depicts a griffin for their unit badge. Royal New Zealand Air Force Police depicts a griffin holding a taiaha for their unit badge.